I love Nintendo Directs. I think they're some of the coolest things Nintendo has even created within the past decade or so. I know every Nintendo fan is going to say they love Nintendo Directs because we get like 5 or 6 new Nintendo trailers, and obviously that's, the stuff we look forward to as fans. However, I just love the act of the Direct itself. The excitement in the community leading up to one of these Nintendo Directs is always like palpable, and it's so exciting to watch it and then go watch your favorite YouTuber's reaction, and just everyone just gets so excited over one thing. It's really truly something special. On top of that, I'm super interested in how like marketing works. So I like always want to know, does Nintendo know what games will get the biggest reaction? And the Directs show that they do, and they do understand it perfectly. Like, can you guys remember when Smash Ultimate was revealed? There was no better way to reveal that game than the way Nintendo did. And it's so interesting to see them do this and see, oh, okay, so they think Link's Awakening is, a really big game because it got the ending of this Direct, but obviously Mario Maker 2 is also a big game because it got the start of this Direct. But maybe they announced like a Captain Toad port, and so, obviously they don't think that's as big, so that was in the middle of the Direct. Stuff like that just fascinates me to no end, and I thought Directs were here to stay because all other companies have started copying Nintendo Directs recently. It seems like the industry as a whole has decided that yes, this is the right way to deliver information to the consumer, and then just like that, Nintendo goes, actually, and then just leaves the entire community in shambles. So I didn't want to make this video. In fact, I actually held off on making this video because a lot of YouTubers like made it, last year or towards the end of last year. I thought Nintendo was going to have a huge Direct at the start of January, but some stuff has happened that leads me to believe that that's not the case, and not only is that not the case, but Nintendo Directs, they could be gone as we know it. So in this video, I want to talk about why that is. Why are Directs gone as we know it? On top of that, I'm probably going to end up doing, videos on this in the future because as I said, I really love Directs, and I think Directs are the reason I'm a Nintendo fan as big as I am today, but I just kind of want to pay homage to the Nintendo Direct because, man, I mean, they were something special. So what's going on, guys? This is Thomas from the Switch Shop. Obviously, all good things must come to an end, and it's looking like the end is here for Nintendo Directs. First of all, let's recap how Nintendo was doing coming into 2021. 2020 was one of Nintendo's most successful years in a long time, and let's see how many general Nintendo Directs they had that year. 0. They had none. I mean, there was a, mini Direct in March and a Mario specific Direct in September, and then of course we got numerous partner showcases, but unfortunately, there was no big Direct. Despite that, 2020 was one of the best years for Nintendo in a long time, thanks in no small part to Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and their older titles continuously selling well, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, and so on. Coming into 2021, we knew of one game, and that's Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, obviously, I'm incredibly excited for this game, but if you think about it, like, it is a port. It's crazy that we only knew of one game coming into 2021, and it was a port. We knew of a couple other games like new Pokemon Snap, but none of them were actually confirmed for 2021. So everyone obviously at the start of the year was like, okay, Nintendo, like, what's the plan here? Are you gonna show off, new trailers? Are you just gonna drop them randomly on Twitter? Are you gonna do a Direct? I was of the belief that they were going to do a Direct. I mean, this was literally the perfect time for one. We know absolutely nothing for the rest of 2021, let alone the first half. I mean, we literally knew of one game coming out, and that was Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I thought that if Nintendo Directs were ever going to come back, given that we haven't had one in over a year, this was going to be the time. Naturally, as I'm sure you all know, that did not happen. Instead, we got a couple of random trailers dropped for Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury and new Pokemon Snap. Now, I'm very excited for both these games. I think this is going to be a better start to 2021 than Nintendo had for 2020. Obviously, Animal Crossing just did absolutely bangers, and that came out at the start of 2020, but besides Animal Crossing, there were not many games there that were like big and, a lot of people could get into them. We have a Pokemon game and a Mario game to start off this year, so like literally Nintendo's two biggest franchises, and they're relatively spread out. One's in February, one's in April, so it's not like we're gonna be going too long without a new release. I think 2021 is looking great, and part of that is because Nintendo has, clearly laid out, okay, this is what's new in Bowser's Fury. They gave us that awesome new trailer, they gave us the overview trailer, and obviously we know that's coming out in February. Then they also gave us a brand new trailer for Pokemon Snap and included a release date in that. They gave us those 3 trailers within like 4 days of each other. And that's to me why I think Nintendo Directs are done. That would have been perfect for a Nintendo Direct, but they didn't do that. It's so bizarre too, because literally just as every other company starts shifting over to this Direct format, Nintendo just goes, no, we will leave. And I understand that Nintendo probably wanted to do Directs for, a multitude of reasons, but one of them was to be different and to be unique and to kind of stand out in the way they deliver information to the consumer, but they clearly chose the right path with Directs. I mean, the fact that the entire industry is pivoting towards that is, proof enough. So the fact that now, because it's a popular thing, they're jumping off the Direct train, it makes absolutely no sense to me. But anyway, back on track, yeah, I mean, if Nintendo was still going to do directs, we would have just had a Direct Mini. We got 3 huge trailers for 2 big upcoming Nintendo games. On top of that, there's going to be another Animal Crossing update later this month. That was already confirmed, so we could have gotten a trailer for that in the Direct, plus maybe a tease for what's to come later this year. Naturally, they're gonna have titles in, the spring, summer, and fall and winter, so I mean, we could have gotten a tease for that in this Direct. So all in all, in order to have a Nintendo Direct, they really would have only had to show off one extra thing, and that would be, whatever game they wanted to tease for later this year, because we already know they have an Animal Crossing update trailer essentially ready probably, and obviously they have the 3 trailers they just put out ready, so they could have easily put this into a Direct, but they consciously chose not to. And to be honest, it kind of makes sense, as much as it pains me to say this. When Nintendo puts out a Direct, what's trending on Twitter? It's like, oh, Direct, and then the 3 biggest announcements. Say, for example, Nintendo teased a new game, showed off the Pokemon Snap trailer, and the Mario 3D World trailer, and the Animal Crossing update. Twitter trending is basically a free, advertisement campaign for whatever is popular, so Nintendo could have kind of expected to have maybe 1 or 2 things on that list. Maybe they teased Breath of the Wild 2, that 100% would be trending, and probably new Pokemon Snap would be trending too, because that game just looks pretty cool and a lot of people are nostalgic for it. Say they add in Brewster or something to Animal Crossing New Horizons, that wouldn't be trending. I mean, Brewster is sick and all, but an update to New Horizons versus Breath of the Wild 2, clearly Breath of the Wild 2 would be trending higher, right? What I'm trying to say is Nintendo doesn't want to put out all their trailers at once, because if they space it out, then each one will get, a lot of views, rather than if they put them all out at once, just the most popular ones will get the most views, and then the kind of less popular ones will fall to the wayside. So in some weird messed up way, it does make sense. And that really pains me to say, because as I said, I love Directs. I think Directs are some of the coolest things Nintendo's put out in the past decade that's not named The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario 3D World, or Super Mario Odyssey. So fellas, let's pour one out to our fallen soldier, the Nintendo Direct. This was by far the coolest way Nintendo could show off information to us. It brought the community together for something, and more times than not, they actually delivered with insane hype. It sucks too, because Directs were just hitting their stride. There was a period there where they felt really awkward after the loss of Iwata and Reggie started having less of an on-camera presence, but the Directs in 2018 and 2019 were some of the best Nintendo had ever made. The pacing was great, the announcements were heavy-hitting, the third-party support was great, but just at their peak, just when we the community needed them the most, they vanished. It sucks because Nintendo Directs were one of the only things we could point to and say, look, Nintendo is a modern company that understands us as consumers. Obviously, as fans of a company, we just want to be heard. And recently, it seemed very much so like Nintendo just does not care about the fans at all. Directs were the best way for Nintendo to be like, no, we see you, here's some sick trailers. The amount of announcements they packed in is staggering. These things were so fun. I don't know if it's the new CEOs of both Nintendo and Nintendo of America just not wanting to have an on-camera presence. They were almost like mini game launches within themselves. They brought the community together like something I've never seen, and for that, I'll always be thankful.